ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Welcome to our discussion on Krishna's Dwarka pastimes. Today we will discuss two special pastimes. One is about a king who became a lizard. Second is about a king who considered himself God. So the king who became a lizard was the king Nriga, and the king who considered himself God was a personality named Poundraka. So today we will discuss these two beautiful stories which are very instructive. So first we will begin with the story of King Nriga. So one day the young Yadu boys they went to the forest to play. All these boys, Krishna's sons and Yadu young boys, they came to a forest to play, and suddenly as they are playing, they become thirsty. They went to a well. Inside the well, they have seen a very peculiar creature. They have seen a very huge, gigantic lizard, and this lizard was so huge, and they never saw such a creature. All the Yadu boys became very much astonished and surprised, and they also felt that this lizard is caught up in this well. So the lizard needs some freedom now to move. So let us go and help this lizard. So let us pull this lizard out of the well so that it can have some freedom. So the Yadu, young boys of Yadu dynasty, they tried so hard to bring out this lizard from this well, but they could not do so. So they tried to help the lizard in various ways, but they did not manage to do it. So they all went and reported this to Lord Krishna. So when the boys could not lift the lizard, Krishna came to their rescue. Krishna came to help them. So Krishna saw this inside the well. He saw this huge lizard. And Krishna just lifted that lizard very easily with his hand and brought it out. And as soon as Krishna brought it out, because the lizard was touched by the hand of Krishna, which is divine, which is bestowing all kinds of mercy and fearlessness upon devotees, this lizard was transformed into a very beautiful king, very great personality. So the lizard body has gone and a very beautiful human body manifested there. And that personality in Nriga, he offered obeisances to Krishna. And all the boys surrounding Krishna, they became very astonished. They were so surprised. How did this lizard become such an effulgent personality? Krishna knows everything about this lizard. But Krishna asked, very politely Krishna asked this King Nriga, this beautiful personality who manifested from this lizard. Krishna asked him, who are you? And I am seeing you in a very excellent form, and I think you must be a exalted devata, demigod. You look so effulgent. Who are you? Why are you in this lizard body? And as soon as I touched, you became like a demigod. So who are you? By what past activity did you assume this form of a lizard? So generally, when somebody does a mistake, in the Vedic days, in those days, when somebody does a mistake, he will be cursed by some sages to become an animal or a bird or a lizard or whatever. Or sometimes somebody performs some sinful activity. As a result of that sin, as a part of that sinful reaction, one may have to undergo certain difficulty in an animal body. So basically, Krishna was trying to understand what happened to Nriga, what brought him to this situation of being a lizard. Then, by hearing this personality, this effulgent personality started responding to Krishna. He said that I am a king named Nriga. I was the son of the glorious Ikshvaku. In Ikshvaku dynasty, Lord Ramachandra appeared, and you know the glory of Lord Ramachandra, the incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So he says that I belong to the Ikshvaku dynasty. My name is King Nriga. And oh Lord, you must have heard about my name also. Krishna, you must have heard about my name also as one of the charitable personalities. Nriga was extremely charitable to Brahmanas. He is a great worshipper of Brahmanas and he would offer charity to Brahmanas also. And he is specifically famous for that. So you must have heard my name. Just like some people are there, known for their strength, known for their influence, known for their bow fighting, known for their club fighting. So Bhima is a very great club fighter. Arjuna is a very great fighter with bow. So like the different kings are famous for different activities, Nriga is famous for his charity. So he said that Krishna, you must have heard about this. And nothing is unknown to you. You are the Supreme Lord. What could possibly be unknown to you, my dear Lord? With vision undisturbed by time, you are the witness of the minds of all beings. So you see everything. You know everything about me, but still you are asking me so that I can describe in my own words my situation. What brought me to this degraded condition as a lizard? So you want me to narrate? I will narrate. He says that, my dear Lord, I have given so many cows in charity to the Brahmanas. So I am very much accustomed to giving thousands and thousands of cows as charity to the Brahmanas. And the cows are also of first class quality. The cows are very young, so they are giving milk and they were well decorated. The cows are decorated with gold and silver and other silk garments. And the cows have good qualities and they have good clothes. They have very good calves. I have given such kind of beautiful cows, 1,000 in number, to Brahmanas. So once I was giving charity to a Brahmana and I also performed Vedic sacrifices and many other pious welfare activities. So once I gave charity of some cows to a Brahmana and somehow another Brahmana's cow entered my herd. So the king had certain number of cows and somehow one cow of that belonged to another Brahmana wandered into the cow shed, the cows, the cow shed of King Nriga. So Nriga did not know this. Nriga thought it is his cow only. So not knowing that he has given this cow in charity to another Brahmana. Now the owner of this cow, the other Brahmana who is the owner of this cow came to Nriga and said, where is my cow? My cow just went into your herd and you have given that cow as a donation, as a charity to another Brahmana. I want my cow back. Then Nriga called for the new Brahmana who has accepted the charity just now. And the new Brahmana said that you have already given this cow in charity to me. How can you accept this cow back? Then that belongs to another Brahmana. That does not mean that you take it back. So Nriga, by mistake, without his knowledge only, this cow has come into his herd and he has given it in charity. So because of this discrepancy in charity, so he had to suffer. So basically, Nriga even offered, I will give you several cows. I will give you 1 lakh cows in exchange of this one cow. Oh Brahmana, please give this cow back to me so that I can give this cow to this Brahmana, its original owner. So you accept 1 lakh cows in return. He said, no, I don't want 1 lakh cow. I want this one cow only. The other Brahmana also did not accept. Other Brahmana says, I want my cow only back. And this new Brahmana also says that I want my cow only back. You have already given this cow as charity to me. So both of the Brahmanas did not agree. So because of displeasing these two Brahmanas, so Nriga was taken to hell after he left his body. So this has become a sinful reaction. Now Yamaraj in the hellish planet he asked this Nriga. He said that, do you wish to experience the results of your pious activities or your impious activities? So you have done both pious activities and impious activities. And impious activities are very less actually. So Yamaraj asked him, which reaction you want to experience first? Then Nriga said, first I want to experience the result of my impious activities. Then he was made into a lizard. He was given a lizard body. So let me suffer for my sinful reactions first. And Yamaraj said, okay, then fall into this lizard body. So then Nriga became a lizard. As your servant, I was devoted to Brahmanas and generous to them, and I always hankered for your audience. Therefore, even till now, I have never forgotten my past life. So Nriga, although he entered this lizard body, he did not forget his past life, and he was sincerely offering this prayer to Krishna. Krishna, I am extremely fortunate to be able to see your beautiful form. I got your darshan. And Nriga offered prayers to the Lord. He said that Sattvam katham mama vibho kshipatah paratma yogeshwarah shruti drsha mila hridva bhavyah sakshadadhokshaja uruvyasanandha buddheh syanmenu drishya ihayasya bhavapa vargah. He said that, my dear Lord, how can I see you, whom greatest mystics with pure hearts can see? Dhyanavasthita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yogino. All great sages meditate on the beautiful form of the Lord within their hearts, and one day they will be able to see. But how can I see you? I am blinded by severe tribulations of material life. So one who has finished his material entanglement in this world should be able to see you. So in this way, Nriga offered his prayer. He said, "Oh Achyuta, oh Avyaya, please permit me. Now I have experienced my sinful reactions. Now I will have to go to heavenly planets to experience that pious results also. So, but wherever I am, let my mind always think of you, my dear Lord." In this way, Nriga offered this prayer to Krishna and he departed. So then Nriga circumambulated Lord Krishna and then departed to heaven. And all this pastime is being seen by the young Yadu boys. So Krishna took this opportunity to give teachings to all the Yadus. He said that, "Oh Yadus, have you seen Nriga's case? Nriga has taken the property of a Brahmana by mistake, of course, not intentionally. He has taken the property of Brahmana. So if the property of a Brahmana is taken unintentionally also, one will have to suffer sinful reactions." He said that one who is devoted to Brahmanas, he is actual follower of religion, follower of dharma, and the property of Brahmana is indigestible even to the most powerful person. Even if the person is more powerful than fire also, he cannot digest the property of a Brahmana. What to speak of kings who think themselves as lords? So one should never accept the property of a Brahmana. The poison, which is called halahala, came out of the Samudra Manthan. When the demigods and the demons churned the milk ocean, halahal came out. So that halahal is very dangerous poison that can destroy the universe. But Krishna says that halahal is not the real poison. The real poison is the property of a Brahmana. If we accept the property of a Brahmana, then that acceptance will act as a poison, real poison that does not have an antidote. Even if you drink halahal also, there could be some antidote, there could be some solution for it, and there could be some remedy for it. But one accepts if one steals the property of a Brahmana, there is absolutely no problem. There is no remedy for it. Naham halahalam manye visham yasya pratikriya brahmasvam hi vishvam proktam visham proktam nasya pratividhir bhuvi. Krishna says that Naham halahalam manye. I don't consider halahala to be great poison that does not have any remedy. Visham yasya pratikriya. So the pratikriya means remedy. So if you drink the poison, so by taking some medicine or by giving some remedy, the person could be protected from that halahal also. But there is absolutely no remedy if one takes the property of a Brahmana. So that the results of taking Brahmana's property are really poisonous. Poison kills only one who takes it. And fire can be extinguished with water. But the fire of stealing a Brahmana's property cannot be extinguished. So it burns the thief and it also burns the entire family of the thief down to the root. So enjoying a Brahmana's property without permission will destroy the 3 generations of one's family. So in this way, Krishna gives so many teachings to the regular humanity through the Yadu boys, taking the opportunity of seeing this lizard who had narrated his own previous story. So in this way, Krishna has given divine teachings on respecting Brahmanas and not stealing property of Brahmanas. So he says that Vipram kritagasam api naiva druhyata mamakaha ghanantam bahushapantam va namaskuruta nityasaha. Krishna says that Vipram kritagasam vapi, even if the Brahmana has performed some offense, one should forgive that offense, one should not take it very seriously, one should not usurp his property. So never treat a learned Brahmana harshly, even if he has committed some sin, even if he attacks you, even if he curses you also. A Brahmana is meant to be offered all obeisances and respects. So Krishna describes the importance of Brahmanas in this way. So that completes the story of King Nriga. And now we will discuss the story of another king named Paundraka. Paundraka is a foolish ruler of Karusha kingdom. So some foolish people told him, "You are God, you are the real Vasudeva, you are Krishna, you are the supreme personality of Godhead. So you accept the symbols. There is another Krishna in Dwaraka who is claiming to be the Supreme Lord, claiming to be Vasudeva, and he is cheating people. So you are the real God." Like that, some foolish people just flattered this Paundraka with so many flowery words, and he started thinking himself to be God. He started believing those words. So the thinking oneself to be God sometimes happens in the foolish minds of conditioned souls also. And such foolish conditioned souls think themselves to be God, and they are worshipped by some so-called foolish followers who also consider him to be God, and that foolishness spreads to multiple people. Like that, there are so many imitation gods, and there are so many people who unnecessarily claim themselves to be God. The Supreme Lord is divine. Bhagavan has his 6 opulences in full. He is full in wisdom, he is full in wealth, beauty, strength, knowledge, everything. So Krishna has all 6 opulences in full, and Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Krishna is the creator, maintainer, destroyer, and the Lord has multiple forms. So who is God? Who is an incarnation of God? They are very authentically described in the scriptures. But still some unscrupulous people consider themselves to be God very foolishly and ruin their own lives, and playing with the faith of some common other foolish people, they also spoil others' lives. So the purpose of human life is to worship the Supreme Lord Krishna, worship God and perfect one's life, but unnecessarily foolish people claim themselves to be God, although they do not have the ability. We are godly, we are not gods. So we have qualities similar to the Lord. We are qualitatively one with the Lord, but we are quantitatively different from the Lord. So the comparison is given in the scriptures. So we are like fire spark, while God is like huge forest fire. We are like drops of ocean, while the Lord is compared to ocean. So the quality of this drop of water and the quality of ocean are same. Qualitatively there is oneness, but quantitatively it's different. So we are infinitesimal beings. We are, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. So all the jivas are my parts and parcels. They are my fragmental parts. So in that way, we are qualitatively one with the Lord. The Lord is completely spiritual. We are also spiritual. But we have a tendency to get overpowered by material energy, and we enter material bodies. So now this Paundraka started thinking that he is God. So he has been told by some childish people that you are Vasudeva, you have descended on this earth, you are a great incarnation. Then he started imagining himself to be God by the popular votes. And this Paundraka had the audacity to send a letter to Krishna. So this Paundraka Vasudeva has sent a letter with a messenger to original Vasudeva, and that messenger came to Dwaraka. So Krishna was sitting in his Sudharma assembly hall along with so many other exalted Yadu dynasty members. And this messenger from Poundraka came. He said, and the soldier came inside and asked, so there is a messenger from Karusha kingdom, and you want me to make him enter the assembly? Then Krishna said, okay, fine, call him. And this person came out, and he took out the message and he started reading out in front of Krishna. Poundraka's message is that, oh Krishna, I am the one and only Lord Vasudeva, who have descended on this earthly planet to show my mercy upon the conditioned souls. And you are using my false name, you are using my symbols, so you are falsely using my name. You are also claiming to be Vasudeva, you are also claiming to be Krishna, and you are using my symbols of Shankha, Chakra, Gada, etc. So give up my personal symbols, and I am very merciful. If you come to me and take my shelter, I will forgive you. You should just give up your symbols, and you should beg forgiveness from me, and I will give you shelter. If you don't do that, come for a fight with me. I will fight you and I will defeat you, I will kill you. Like that, in a very foolish manner, this imitation God, this false God, wrote a letter to the original God, original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And all the members in the Yadu dynasty in that assembly hall, they laughed. Krishna also laughed so loudly, seeing the foolishness of this person. And Krishna replied this messenger. Krishna said that, oh messenger, go and communicate to your king. Krishna said that, oh Poundraka, when you lie dead, only vultures and herons and dogs will come and eat your flesh, eat your dead body. So then, you fool, I will indeed let loose all weapons. That you are boasting so much about your own personal weapons, I will show what is the power of their weapons to you. So Krishna in this way gave a very powerful warning to Poundraka, and also Krishna went. Krishna went to attack Poundraka. At that time, Poundraka was in Kasi. So the Kasi Raja, the king of Kasi or Varanasi, was a friend of Poundraka. So Poundraka and this Kasi Raja both were in Kasi, in the city of Kasi. So Krishna went to Kasi. So when Krishna went there, and Poundraka came out of this kingdom of Varanasi with 2 full military divisions. And Poundraka was exactly dressing himself as Krishna. He had this yellow pitambar, and he has this garland, and he has this mukut, and he also is having a chakra, shankha, gada, etc. So he exactly looked like Krishna in his dressing style, because he believed himself to be Krishna. He believed himself to be Vasudeva and God by the popular foolish votes of people. And Krishna saw him like a drama artist. So sometimes drama artists play the roles of God, play the role of Krishna, Narayana, Narasimha, etc. So Krishna found Poundraka to be like a drama artist, and he laughed. Even on the battlefield, he came to fight with this Poundraka, but he laughed at the whole attire of Poundraka. So then Krishna fought with Poundraka. So Poundraka's so many military divisions are there. They also came to fight with Krishna. And Krishna fought for a while and very effortlessly sent his Sudarshana Chakra and cut the head of Poundraka. And Poundraka died. He claimed himself to be God, and all the weapons of this so-called God were destroyed by the original God, and the person himself is beheaded by the Lord, and no one could come to rescue him, and he himself, where has his godhood gone? So this person, this Poundraka, just died on the battlefield. And the other enemies came to attack Lord Hari with various weapons, and Krishna just killed all of them. And later Kasi Raja, who was supporting this Poundraka, he also came to fight. Krishna killed Kasi Raja also. And Kasi Raja's head was cut, and then it was thrown into the city of Kasi. Then Krishna went back to his Dwaraka. But one good thing that happened to Poundraka was, Poundraka constantly meditated on Krishna. He considered himself to be God, and he was constantly meditating on Krishna with a negative feeling, of course, to compete with Krishna. Just like Kamsa always meditated on Krishna with fear, this Kashiraj also meditated constantly on Krishna while imitating Krishna, while competing with Krishna. So Krishna was kind enough to give liberation to Paundraka. So Paundraka was liberated because of his constant meditation on Krishna. Krishna is so kind enough to give liberation to people who approach him even with negative intentions, who meditate on him even with negative emotions. And not every negative emotion towards God will lead to liberation. If our negative emotions of, say, lust or anger or fear or any other such negative emotions will lead us to complete absorption in Krishna, then one will be liberated. Kamsa is liberated, this Paundraka is liberated, Shishupal was so envious and hatred and angry towards Krishna, he was liberated. So all these personalities are liberated because of their complete absorption in Krishna with a negative emotion. But if one's negative emotion does not lead one to get into complete absorption in Krishna, then one will not be liberated, one will go to hell. If one blasphemes the Lord, if one criticizes the Lord, one will go to hell. But if that criticism or blasphemy of the Lord makes one deeply absorbed in Lord, then that could lead one to liberation. So these negative emotions are not recommendations in bhakti. We are supposed to render bhakti, we are supposed to worship the Supreme Lord with deep love and devotion and respect and reverence, and not with any negative emotion. But some people, even if they are having negative emotions, the Lord is kind enough to deliver them, if that leads into absorption. Criticism of the Lord is of two types. One, loving criticism. Second, very negative and envious criticism. So Shishupal criticized Krishna with envy, and gopis of Vrindavan criticized Krishna with love. All the motherly gopis of Vrindavan come to Mother Yashoda and lodge so many complaints against Krishna. They say, Krishna has come to our house, he has stolen our butter, he has broken our pots, he pinched our babies, he made our homes dirty, and he did a lot of other mischievous activities in front of our houses. He was releasing our calves before milking time. Like that, so many complaints that the gopis had given on Krishna to Mother Yashoda. So these are all loving complaints. They criticized Krishna but with love. But Shishupal criticized Krishna with hatred, with envy. But if one's criticism of Krishna leads one to absorption, that will liberate a person. But if the criticism is does not lead to absorption in Krishna, because Shishupal or Kamsa or this Paundraka, they were constantly thinking about Krishna. That constant thought of Krishna is the cause of their liberation. So Krishna accepts that positive part of absorption and he neglects the negative part of envy there. And he just liberates such people also. So when Kashiraj was killed, Paundraka was killed, the son of Kashiraj, he became extremely envious of Krishna. He wanted to kill Krishna. So this Kashiraj's son, so Kashiraj's head went in the, Krishna cut Kashiraj's head, and that head flew into the city, and in the middle of the city that head fell down. So seeing all this such ghastly death of his father, this Kashiraj's son became extremely envious of Krishna. So Kashiraj's son's name is Sudakshina. This Sudakshina performed a worship. He worshipped Lord Shiva with great reverence and devotion, just to attain a benediction by which he can kill Krishna. So to avenge the death of his father, Kashiraj's son Sudakshina worshipped Shiva, and finally after his worship, Shiva appeared there and asked, what benediction do you want, O prince? Then he said that, I want the benediction of slaying my father's killer. How can Shiva give a benediction to a demon to kill Krishna? Is it possible? Definitely not. But Shiva is obliged by this worshipper because he worshipped with so much of dedication. So Shiva said, in a very tricky way, Shiva said, oh, Sudakshina, you should perform a ritual, and in that, through that ritual, you can get Dakshinagni fire. So through that ritual, you get Dakshinagni fire, and with this Dakshinagni fire is capable of fulfilling your desires to kill your enemy. But if there is any discrepancy in this, then the Dakshinagni fire will come and destroy your own city. So destroy the person who has released that. So then Sudakshina, he performed that ritual, and through that ritual a very fiery creature was created. It was looking very terrible, and this terrible fiery creature licked the corners of his mouth, and it's very hot, and this fiery creature came to Dwaraka, and all the citizens of Dwaraka were afflicted with fear. Of course, the citizens of Dwaraka had no fears as long as Krishna is there. So when they went to Krishna, Krishna reassured them, absolutely no fear. No fire can harm you. You don't have to fear at all. I will take care of this fire. So Krishna came and released his Sudarshan Chakra, and the Sudarshan Chakra attacked this fiery demon, fiery creature that this Sudakshina had created. And this fiery demon attacked Sudakshina only, and went to Kashi city and destroyed the entire Varanasi city also. So in this way, one who tries to harm Krishna or Krishna's devotees will himself be ruined. So no one should offend, or no one should cause any harm, contemplate any harm to the Lord and his devotees. So Paundraka ruined himself by imitating Krishna and getting into a dispute with Krishna. And Kashi Raja supported this false god Paundraka, and he was destroyed. And Kashi Raja's son Sudakshina, he wanted to take revenge on Krishna to avenge the death of his father, and he was destroyed. And the Kashi dynasty was also, Kashi city was also destroyed. So one who contemplates any harm towards the Lord and his devotees cannot attain any happiness. So Varanasi city was destroyed, and Sudarshan Chakra, after destroying Varanasi city, it returned. The Sudarshan Chakra returned to Krishna, and any mortal who recounts this heroic pastime of the Lord and who simply hears it will be freed from all sinful reactions. So Sukadeva Goswami concludes this whole episode with this Falashruti. So we discussed the two stories from the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, the story of King Nriga, who became a lizard by offending Brahmanas, and Paundraka, who was liberated by the mercy of the Lord by meditating on Krishna. But ultimately, before that liberation, he was punished for his imitating God. So no one should imitate God. So the incarnations of the Lord are mentioned in the scriptures, and one should not consider the incarnations of the Lord to be very cheaply available everywhere, and one should not claim to be an incarnation foolishly by the foolish oaths of people. So these are the two stories that we discussed today. Thank you all very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.